Shalom. We are still on the subject what to do as a splinter while waiting to be married. Today's a continuation of the subject what to do as a splinter while waiting to be married. So this is the part two of it. If you've not listened to the part one, I will advise you to watch that as well. In the last episode, we looked into the lifestyle of Rebecca. In today's series, we shall be looking at other biblical characters. Firstly, let's look at the lifestyle of Rachel. Rachel was the youngest daughter of Laban. Her occupation was a shepherdess, a keeper of sheep. To keep herself busy, she often go in a search for water to give her father's sheep. It was while she was doing this that she saw her future husband. That is the person of Jacob. Genesis chapter 29, if you read from verse 1 to 9, it says, So Jacob went on his journey and came to the land of the people of the east. And he looked and saw a well in the field. And behold, there were 30 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks. A large stone was on the well's mat. Now all the sheep would be gathered there, and they would roll the stone from the well's mat, water the sheep, and put the stones back in its place on the well's mat. And Jacob said to them, My brethren, where are you from? And they said, We are from Haran. And he said to them, Do you know Nabal the son of Nahor? And they said, We know him. So he said to them, Is he well? And they said, He is well. And look, his daughter Rachel is coming with the sheep. Then he said, Look, it is still high day. It is not time for the cattle to be gathered together. Water the sheep and go and feed them. But they said, We cannot until all the flocks are gathered together, and they have rolled the stone from the well's mat. Then we water the sheep. Now while he was still speaking with them, Rachel came with his father's sheep, but she was a shepherdess. From the passage we read, we saw that Rachel refused to be hid. Rather, she derived joy in doing something. That is, giving her father's sheep drink. As the youngest daughter, she would have left the job for her elder sister, Leah. But she saw it as her duty to develop herself and to be prepared towards the future, to be a wife and a mother. As a young lady of her age, she refused to give room for laziness and idleness. She was busy developing herself while waiting for her prime age to be married. She was working on herself. Her attitude and strength as a mother to be. The Bible stated that Rachel was beautiful. In Genesis chapter 29, verse 17 says, Leah's eyes were delicate, but Rachel was beautiful of forms and appearance. It takes humility for such a beautiful lady to engage in what she was doing. Rachel was beautiful. Not only that, she added the right attitudes, that is inner beauty. Instead of sitting idle, Rachel went hard. She kept herself busy. In the process of doing that, she found a future husband. That is the person of Jacob. The next biblical character that we'll be looking at is the lifestyle of Zipporah. Exodus chapter 2, if you read from verse 16 to 21, it says, Now the priest of Media had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water, and they filled the trough to water their father's flock. Then the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock. When they came to Reu, their father, he said, How is it that you have come so soon today? And they said, An Egyptian delivered us from the hand of the shepherds, and he also drew enough water for us and watered the flock. So he said to his daughters, Where is he? And why is it that you have left the man? Call him, that him may eat bread. Then Moses was content to live with the man, and he gave Zipporah his daughter to Moses. From the Bible passage you read, we saw Zipporah was a princess simply because her father was a priest in Midian. She grew up among six other sisters. As the eldest of all, she committed herself into hard working so that her younger ones can learn from her. As someone from a royal family with so many housemates around and six younger sisters, she have every reason to sit down and relax while they do all the work around. Rather, she took it as a pride on herself to make use of her strength and develop herself. It was while she was doing this that she met the right man, Moses, whom God had prepared for her, who later became her husband. So Zipporah met her future husband in the process of keeping herself busy. Instead of sitting idle, doing nothing, she decided to engage herself, preparing and building her future, building her attitude, her character, preparing for marriage. And while doing all of this, she ran into a man whom God has predestinated for her before the foundation of the earth. And that man, Moses, became her husband. Now we shall be looking at the lifestyle of Ruth. Ruth doesn't have a great position or come from a famous and godly family. The attitude of Ruth after the death of her husband shows the kind of life she was living when she was a single lady. After the death of her husband, she never allowed her past to hold her back, living in her home nation, Moab. She has lost her husband without a child, and now she's living with her widow mother-in-law. The pain Ruth must have been in was immense as she embarked on her first journey to Israel. She must have been nervous. Ruth had so many reasons to shrink into a chair and live in obscurity. Rather, she came out of obscurity in order to secure her future. Ruth didn't allow her past to hold her back, but she believed there was a life still to be lived and move forward in that confidence. We shall be reading the lifestyle of Ruth in Ruth chapter 2, verse 2 to 3, and from verse 5 to 11, which says, So Ruth the Moabite said to Naomi, Please let me go to the field and grind heads of grain after him in whom side I may find favor. And she said to her, Go, my daughter. Then she left and went and ground in the field after the reapers. And she happened to come to the part of the field belonging to Boaz, who was of the family of Elimelech. Then Boaz said to his servant, who was in charge of the reapers, Whose young woman is this? So the servant who was in charge of the reapers answered and said, It is the young Moabite woman who came back with Naomi from the country of Moab. And she said, Please let me grind and gather all the reapers among the chiefs. So she came and has continued from morning until now, though she rested a little while in the house. Then Boaz said to Ruth, You will listen, my daughter. Will you not? Do not go to grain in another field, nor go from here, but stay close by my young women. Let your eyes be on the field, which they reap, and go after them. Have I not commanded the young men not to touch you? And when you are tasting, go to the vessel and drink from what the young men had drunk. So she fell on her face, bowed down to the ground, and said to him, Why have I found favor in your eyes, that you should take notice of me, since I am a foreigner? And Boaz answered and said unto her, It has been fully reported to me all that you have done for your mother-in-law since the day of your husband, and how you have left your father and mother and the land of your birth, and have come to a people whom you did not know before. Even after the death of her husband, she still maintained her integrity. She refused to give herself cheaply to other men, both in Moab and in a relocation to his grave. In Ruth chapter 30, verses 7 to 11, says, and after Boaz had eaten and drunk, his heart was cheerful. He went to lie down at the end of the heap of grain, and she came softly and covered his feet and lie down. Now it happened at midnight that the man was still and turned himself, and there a woman was lying at his feet. And he said, who are you? So she answered, I am Ruth, your maidservant. Take your maidservant under your wings, for you are a close relative. Then he said, blessed are you of the Lord, my daughter, for you have shown more kindness at the end than at the beginning, in that you did not go after young men, whether poor or rich. And now, my daughter, do not fear. I will do for you all that you request. For all the people of my town know that you are a virtuous woman. Did you see what Boaz said about Ruth? Boaz said, for you have shown more kindness at the beginning than at the end, in that you did not go after young men, whether poor or rich. And now, my daughter, do not fear. I will do for you all that you request. For all the people of my land know that you are a virtuous woman. That makes that Ruth mirrored a good attitude that those around her was able to see that she was unique. She was a virtuous woman. She was a woman of dignity, respect, and honor. She was a woman that kept herself. Even when her mother-in-law sent her to make some earnings, she encountered a man who had interest on her. But when she returned, she told her mother-in-law everything that happened. You see that in Ruth chapter 30, verses 16 to 17. When she came to her mother-in-law, she said, is that you, my daughter? Then she told her all that the man had done for her. And she said, this 6 apron of barley he gave me. For he said to me, do not go empty-handed to your mother-in-law. This only portray one thing, that her lifestyle as a single lady before she got married was pure. When Naomi pleaded with her 2 daughters-in-law to return, her second daughter-in-law left, but Ruth refused to leave her alone. Her character is indescribable. Character is who you are when nobody is watching. Even when nobody was watching Ruth, not even her mother-in-law was where she was working, she still maintained her integrity and dignity. Ruth had no idea that her story will be showcased for millions to read, and yet she showed incredible character in obscurity. At that stage of her life, she wasn't a virgin, but she kept herself a virgin unto God, abstaining from sexual sin and assault. If it was some ladies today, they would have taken advantage of that to mess around with guys, but she kept that respect for herself, even when she wasn't a virgin. I believe that was what Boaz saw that made him to got married to her. Remember what Boaz said about her in Ruth chapter 30, verses 10 to 11. Then he said, blessed are you of the Lord, my daughter, for you have shown more kindness at the end than at the beginning, in that you did not go after young men, whether poor or rich. And now, my daughter, do not fear. I will do for you all that request. For all the people of my land know that you are a virtuous woman. This means everyone around knew Ruth as a good lady. That is true character. When you are doing the right thing, when no one is looking at you, and when people are looking at you. We need to be ourselves at every given time. Even when eyes are on us and when eyes are not on us. Your true personality is who you are in the secret. Your true personality is who you are in the dark. Because what you do in the dark is what will reflect in the light. That's why it is good to be ourselves at every given time, whether eyes are on us or eyes are not on us. When we are ourselves at every given time, that will help us even when we're in a situation when we are not aware that people are watching us. That was what happened. That was the lifestyle of Ruth. Ruth have worked on her character, even when she relocated to another country, because that was her attitude, because that was her lifestyle, that was her character. Even in another location, Ruth remained the Ruth they used to know her to be. Ruth wasn't a two-faced type of person. What she used to be in Moab, that was the same thing she portrayed, even in Israel. So it is good to be ourselves at every given time. Ruth went about and beyond in showing respect and honor to a bitter mother Halo. She worked hard in the field to provide food for her and Naomi. Ruth proved to be a woman of integrity with Boaz. Everything she did represents a woman of great character, and God honored her. Ruth refused to sit down doing nothing. She went in search for food for her and her mother Halo. It was during that process she met Boaz, who later married her. All these biblical characters have one thing in common. They kept themselves busy, and while doing that, they met their husbands in the process. As a single lady, what are your plans towards the future? Are you sitting idle doing nothing? Or you are developing yourself while waiting for marital settlements? Once you are clear about where you want to be, you can start planning how to get there. Set up goals to meet up with. To get gold, you must set up a goal. An idle mind is a polluted mind. Such hands can easily be trapped by sin. Being single means that you have more time for yourself. Now is the time to develop yourself. Pursue what makes you happy, what fulfills you, or what piques your curiosity. Don't pursue what others are pursuing. Choose something that will bring you joy and fulfillment. Define your relationship standard when still single. It's the best time you can do that. You might choose to be in a relationship in the future, and there is no better time than when you're happy and single to figure out what you want and need in a partner. Consider why you're happy now and what traits a future partner will do to enhance that happiness. This is the best time to define what you want, expect and need of a future relationship. It's also a great time to concretely lay down your ideal type of guy, what you want in a relationship future. Take some time to clarify for yourself what futures of a relationship are most important to you and what ones you are willing to be flexible and advance your career. So being a single is the best time for you to plan the type of guy you want to get married, the type of guy you desire, what you desire in a guy, what you desire in the life, in the life of the person you intend going into a relationship with. So as a single, sit down and make some analysis on the things that makes you happy, your visions, your plans, your goals, your aspirations of life, what you want to become in life. As you make some analysis on this, you're able to know the man that will assist you to fulfill these things, the role that the man will play as regard your destiny, as regard your future, as regard your future plans. So sit down and make some analysis on the type of guy you need in a marriage. This will help you to know the right guy when it comes. This will stand as an eye-opening to know the right man that will stand by you together as you both fulfill destiny, together as you both live a joyful life, together as you both live in unity. So what are you doing as a single? Now is the best time to plan. Now is the best time to put a check and recheck on your life and as regard your future plans. Now is the best time to look inward and to get prepared for that which is coming. I pray for you that as you engage yourself into developing yourself, that God Almighty is going to bring the right man your way, a man that will support you in your vision, in your dreams and aspirations in life, a man that will stand as your strength, a man that will stand as your backbone to lift you up when you are discouraged and down, a man that will bring out the best in you. I pray that God will bring such a man your way, such a partner your way for marriage in the name of Jesus. Stay blessed till we meet again. In the next episode, I'll be talking on an interesting subject. So please endeavor to listen to that episode. And as you do, your life will never remain the same. I remain your host. Wisdom is my name.
I know who God says I am, what He says I am, where He says I'm at. I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what He says I am, where He says I'm at. I know who I am. I'm walking in power. I walk in miracles. I live a life of life, a life. For I know who I am. I'm walking in power. I walk in miracles. I live a life of favor.